I wanted to put this video together as we wait for the March 3rd blood moon to get here to see if anything's going to happen. But there's some things that you guys probably don't know. Is that in 2015, I had my very first end time dream ever. And back then, I worked in the restaurant industry. I was a bar owner, bartender, you know, had lots of fun. Never really read the Bible at all. Wasn't saved. Didn't have my faith in Christ. None of those things. Um, I just focused on sports and hanging out with friends and anything but Bible related, end times related, anything. So I wanted to just put that out there for you guys. Over here, I have my Facebook page open, and it basically has about, I don't know, 17 or 18 dreams that I've had since 2015. Now, I've had 5 rapture dreams. I've seen Barack Obama change into a demon in one of my dreams. And it's been a couple of years since I've had any. So that's going to play into what I'm talking about here today. And I want to revisit iPet Goat, but I want to point out some potential scenarios should something happen to the Trump character next week. So we're going to get into a couple things, keeping in mind that our dates are still the same. The March 3rd blood moon, we're expecting something to happen to this guy here. And I do think if that's the case, that there would be a 40-day window leading up to April 12th, which is Orthodox Easter, Palm Sunday, the 88th day of the year, but on the Julian calendar that Raw Repent, myself, and maybe a few others are pointing towards. So let's get started. I do want to look at iPet Goat really quick and point out a couple things, and we're going to bounce around a little bit, but I'm going to show you some screenshots that I took of some stuff that no one else is really showing at the moment. So let's get into it. So we start with this reddish color, which reminds me of the blood moon that's coming up. In this scene, right off the bat, you see a cap here with a D on it. D for Donald, D for Dunce, because he was known to be pretty dumb. And the dunce cat, usually they put you in timeout and things like that, but you also see a pink chair here, and this character, the teacher, in the background. So as we let it play out, he sits down. And we've gone over a bunch of this stuff, That's the Trump character there. That's also the Trump character on the chalkboard. Above the chalkboard on the evolution chart, this is the Trump character here. These are the blood moons. We all know those things already. We're going to keep going. Okay, now he's about to get the head wound. I want you to pay attention to what happens right after the head wound. Here we go. That's the head wound right there. And I have screenshots to show you about this. But we pan immediately over to this woman who's looking at him, and then it continues along, and he does all this stuff and points around the room. And then what I think is this is an explosion underwater and a tsunami. Immediately after that, he changes into Barack Obama with a graduation cap, a purple tassel, which generally is the color for royalty, and he winks, and there's that eclipse. So he winks, and then the scene pans over to the children. And I'm going to cover a lot of things here as well. So we're going to keep moving along and stop it right here. So we all know that this is the Donald Trump character right here, because that's the way he sits. But this character here is Barack Obama. You can tell because he has these big ears. He even joked about it when he was looking at Akhenaten years ago when he was president. But also I was noticing there's obviously this is related to the COVID lockdown that we had in 2020, 2021. But this is a multi-layered scene. So looking at this, in today's time, you see this character here has extra barbed wire around it. Like maybe there's another lockdown coming that's even more severe. So we're going to get away from this for a minute and look at a few things here. So we'll click on this here. So yesterday there was something that happened at Mar-a-Lago. Somebody apparently was trying to get to the president and didn't make it. But the sheriff showed this picture on the news. So you see the shotgun here, and whatever this is, I think it's gasoline or whatever the case may be. But you see this item here, and to me, this picture looks like he's holding up a picture of the blood moon. Now we know that next week we're going to have the third consecutive Purim blood moon in 3 years. So we're going to get out of this and go forward. So we just saw in this scene here when Barack Obama, when George Bush gets the head wound, immediately he looks over to the woman. And that woman looks like Kamala Harris. So we're going to look at this. Do you guys remember when The Simpsons had this episode where Lisa was wearing the same exact outfit as Kamala when the inauguration happened? I always thought that was pretty interesting. So if you look over here, Kamala Harris was born on October 20th, 1964. And if you take that to March 3rd, next week, the date we're looking for, it's 3,202 weeks, which is skull and bones. And we see the 3 here and the 2 in her hair. So when the scene opens in iPet Goat, it looks like she's waiting in the wings, in the background, in the dark, off to the side. And as soon as the head wound happens, it pans right over to this woman. So I'm just wondering, is there any possibility, and I don't know how it would happen, because I know the chain of command, if something happens to the president, it would go to the vice president, and then the Speaker of the House, and so on. So I don't know, but maybe there is something in their plans, once Donald Trump is no longer in the picture, to really create some chaos in the country and put this woman back in charge. Because here you can see the head wound in iPet Goat that happens, and here I freeze framed and adjusted the colors, and here you can see the assassin's head here, his neck, here's his shoulders, and I guess he's pointing a weapon behind the shark, and the head wound happens here. But this is pretty interesting. So we're going to look at this.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. How bad is it, Secretary Van Houten?
We're broke.
The country is broke? How can that be?
Okay, so I wanted to show you that. So it's definitely been put out there that there's the possibility of a female president in our future. And everything they just said in that short little clip, how we left the country broke and things like that. I mean, it just really seems like it's talking about today. So we're going to move along. We've already looked at these two here. I'm going to move that off to the side here. So let's look at this. Okay. Barack Obama, an iPet Goat, graduates. Here on the Psalm 23 wall, I showed in another video that the O here with the line through it, it's the trident, but it's also the O in Barack Obama's signature, which is a serpent's eye. And then here's the top of the B here and the bottom of the B here, AMA. Okay? And this was someone else's, someone else's picture that they tried to figure that out at one point, probably 5-6 years ago. But this is the way I've done it, and Obama's definitely hidden in there. So we're going to get rid of that and look at this. Okay. So Barack Obama, let's talk about him a little bit, because he is who I think is the Antichrist. I never honestly believed it was Trump. So what I think, the country has to be in complete chaos before they completely collapse it. So if something happens to Trump, I could see how they try to put Kamala Harris back in, and that would be another way to get this guy back in there, maybe as a VP. Um, but on top of that, if Trump gets a head wound, depending on who it's from, that would create a certain situation in America, whether it's Iran or it's a migrant or whoever it may be. But I think that this guy is also going to have a head wound. And that's why it seems so confusing, because there's so much programming about Donald Trump receiving one. But I think this is the Antichrist, and he is going to receive a head wound. And depending on who does that, it can really create a civil war in this country. And for America to completely collapse, I believe that's something that's necessary. So here, Obama, the dragon, graduates to the Antichrist, world leader. As he's laughing, the tassel points and touches the dragon, and we know who the dragon is. And it also touches the lightning being cast down. Okay? And you can read this on your own, but translations of the Bible in Hebrew, you can see Barack Obama. The translation of Luke 10:18 back into English using Heights would be, I saw Satan fall as Barack Obama. So in this scene outside the classroom, I think there's a reason that they make sure they incorporate this, and Obama, clear as day, in the window thinking about what's about to happen. I believe that's the lightning coming down. And then here too, he's sweating because Satan's about to indwell him, and he knows his time is short. This was a week ago at a basketball game, and I love how they staged this photo together. It's really telling. And then here, Obama head wound, heavy lockdown coming in the Great Tribulation. And here on the character, this leg here makes a 7, and there's an upside down 7 on his shirt. And that could be for Israel's 77th year, which we're still in. So we're going to keep going and move this out of the way. And we got something else here. So here's another scene from My Pet Goat. And I just showed you this here is a little better view of the 7 here and the 7 here. But to me, see his chin and the side of his face. Here's a chin. Here's the side of a face. And yes, this is an explosion and a retaliation, but this also looks like more so Obama's hair than it would be Trump's. So to me, this represents a head wound this guy receives at the very end, and then possibly war really explodes and rapture may happen. But here we go, one layer here, Obama head wound, which would create civil war depending on who is behind it. Maybe it's the Proud Boys, one of their proxy make-believe patriot groups. And this could also represent the Gog and Magog war, because this iPet Goat video is multi-layered. And here's the hook in the jaw. Sorry, right there. That J-shaped thing, the hook in the jaw. It looks like 2 hooks possibly. So we're going to keep going with this. Here we go again. Here's some more. So this was Barack Obama on Halloween. This is Barack Obama's make-believe kids with their actual parents. And I'm not sure if you've ever seen this before, but his daughters' names are Malia and Natasha. So when you write them out, Malia, Natasha, spelled backwards. And if you remove the A-L-A-H from both, A-L-A-H, it leaves you with I-A-M-S-A-T-A-N. This is Barack Obama here in the White House. This was something they put out because he's such a big Game of Thrones junkie. So you see the bow and the throne. And then this was at Barack Obama's 60th birthday, and he's dancing, and you could see all this electricity coming through there. And here he is with the devil horns, of course. So moving along with that, we're going to look at this. And then I'm going to come back to a few things. So this is the woman in the tower. I think this is just signifying war. And this is what those crusade helmets look like back in the day. And here's some information on the old woman. And we're going to look at that. And let's take this down here. Sorry, guys. Okay. So here's the waning crescent that's on the side here. while she's inside the prison. There's 3 bars here and an icicle for 4. And then this can be an M because it's not connected together, and that's 13 for your 413. When she's looking through the bars, a flash of light, maybe it's a missile, maybe it's a comet, something. I believe this is like a lighthouse, so she must be by the water. And I guess that's about to make an impact, and she's afraid. And then here we see the old woman again, April pink moon on her breast. They're showing you the pink moon here. And the figs on her dress. Is this signifying the end of the fig tree generation? Here's her shoe. April, pink X's. X's are 10s or 1s. You got 3 of them for 111. And you can break that into 102. Day of 102 is going to be your April 12 and 13. You also see the 111 on the character in the TV set, Draco. In his eye, you see the 111. And his face is actually a $5 bill. You can see the triangle on the bottom of it. And it says 5 for Abraham Lincoln. And that ship's going to get sunk at some point, leading us to World War III. At the pink moon, you can see all these numbers scratched on the wall, like they were counting days and days for this time to finally arrive. And the counting's finally over. You can see the blood spot here. This is the Virgo constellation, the pose, and here it disappears, and maybe that means the age of grace is over. There remains no more blood sacrifice, and we have just entered the Great Tribulation. So that's just my interpretation there on that one. And then we're going to look at these things here. There's that dunce cap, but maybe it's a pink for D. 4th month, maybe that's a birthday hat, like it's our birthday. And then here, this when it was whole, it looks like it could have been a full pink moon. And sometime in the midst of the month, Satan is cast down to earth. And that's my interpretation on that one. And here's one more thing here. A lot of people are talking about zombies and things like that, and things in the tribulation. Satan cast down. The dragon is cast down. Falls like lightning, like Barack Obama. And here I believe this could be the 5G frequencies that cause this to occur in people's brains, which cause them to lose their wits and become zombified. So those are a couple things that I wanted to show you guys. I'm sure you guys have seen this, but let's see it anyway.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Hey, you say. Hey, you say. Hey, you say. Hey, you say.
All right, so we've got that. And then I want to show you a couple more things. We'll hold off on that for a minute. Let's do this. We'll touch on this one first. And we're almost done, guys. I just wanted to show you this stuff.
Nonetheless, the second dream, or that I had about him, so it was, I had a dream he had a head wound. It was a serious head wound, okay? And I remember saying, "Oh my gosh, he got a head wound. It was almost as if he was shot or something." I'm not saying this is just a dream, guys, but yeah. So I had that, and I remember waking up like, man, and I can't remember if he was on the ground or if it seemed like he was walking around, guys, but with his head wound. And so that was one, and then my final one that I had of.
All right, so we're going to pause that one, and we're going to touch on this one. This is the first dream I ever had, by the way, and I'm just going to click through them. So if you guys want to pause this later and read them, you're more than welcome to. But this one was in 2015, and I'm just going to click through here. This is a Russian invasion dream that I had, and some other ones. This is the one about Barack Obama. And let's look at this one. Last night, I had this in September 2017. Last night I had another dream. I was talking to my friend and I was trying to explain to him something about Barack Obama wasn't right. I tried telling him something about the world leaders working behind the scenes together. I was looking for the cover of The Economist magazine that I have shown right here online, and for some reason, no matter what I searched, it wasn't coming up. I looked and looked, and I was getting so frustrated because It should be there somewhere. I remembered I had printed a copy of it, of the cover of the magazine, and put it on a clipboard with other suspicious topics I'd looked into a few years ago. So I grabbed the clipboard and found it. I put it on top and I leaned the clipboard on my desk. I called my friend over to take a look at the photo and it vanished in front of me before he could see it. So ended up, he didn't believe me about any of it and left. I took out my phone to look at my photos over the years. I had a bunch of Obama photos where he's doing something suspicious in the news or on TV. So I just had some in my camera roll scattered randomly. As I scrolled through, I saw that in every one his face had changed. It looked like he was morphing into something evil and his skin was slightly grayish. His teeth looked gnarled and his eyes were turning red in all of them. I went on my computer and looked up the photos of him and it was the same thing. He looked like a devil and it was so scary. Then I woke up. So after trying to show my friend who I thought he was, and everything was gone and I couldn't prove my point, he left. And when I went back in to look at it all, it returned, but in every single photo I looked at. That's pretty interesting. And here's a tsunami dream I had, and another dream I had there, and two more dreams here. This is about the New York tsunami that I had. This is one about a bunch of planets that I saw in the sky. This is about North Korea. This is about an earthquake in Idaho. This is about China invading what I believe is the West Coast. This is a dream from like my area in North Carolina that I had. And this is a 2-moon dream that I had. So if you guys want to look at that stuff, feel free to do so. I'm going to play this one more here quick.
I immediately walked over to Obama and I spoke and I said hello. When he looked up at me, Obama had this deadly wound to the head. His face was decomposed as if he came out the grave or something. And he spoke, said hi, and then when he looked at me, his eyes turned pitch black. Then it turned gray. Then it turned normal. Then back pitch black. And he got real close to me and said, vote for Robert. Vote for Robert. Vote for Robert. And I had a friend girl with me, and I told my friend girl, I said, girl, look at Obama. Like, he don't look right. I said, look at him. And the moment I told her to look at him, everybody in that cafeteria noticed Obama's appearance. And then I started hearing this. He's the Antichrist. He's the Antichrist. He's the Antichrist. Oh my God, he's the Antichrist. He's the Antichrist.
Okay. So I just wanted to show that to you. And you guys can go on YouTube or Rumble or, I don't know, BitChute or whatever other platforms you guys use and just type in Barack Obama Antichrist Dream or what have you. You are going to see hundreds. So I wanted to show that to you guys. And there is also something else. We're looking for the first month of Nissan 10th day. And here's something else I saw. So I'll show you these couple really quick things here. Here the apple with the leaves. There's a 7 on the leaf here, or an L. So L can be 12, which can also be, that's a 12th letter rather. And then here you've got 4 on this leaf. So 412, that's a date we're looking for things to happen, and they cut to this scene here. So you kind of catch this side view of Trump, and that's the head wound right there. In my community post, I showed you that this is just a 3 with like extra things coming off the lines, but it's just a 3. So you got your 3 there and your 3 here. So I wanted to show you that. And then look at this. Watch this. Watch the numbers that you're going to see in a minute. What do you see right there? And then on the side of the van. Crazy, right? I think we're going to see another staged plan, DEMMICK. These guys seem to be happy and having a party over it. the synagogue of Satan. But you know what? Soon their party's going to be over, and it's going to be forever. And that's going to be their problem. So I showed you everything I wanted to show you. Here's one more. This last one, but I did notice that the stormtroopers have 011 on their uniforms also, and they're dressed in white. So I don't know if that matters. But that's it I've got for you guys. Here, listen to this really quick too. This is a good one. This is super fast.
Where I saw the angel. At the end of movie credits, they have all the names. Well, this one actually had it also, but it didn't have a whole lot of names. It just said credits, and then it said Abel in all capital letters, ABEL, Abel. And then after that happened, then I saw the angel on my right side pop up, and on the projector screen, really bright. And that's when they said April. He said, April, are you ready? And before he even had a chance to ask me the question, I said, yes, I'm ready. And then I woke up.
All right, guys. God bless.